We
It,
are live, dear. We're live.
cool.
Awesome.
Welcome, everyone, to another Facebook Live. We have been gone for a little minute, but
Yes.
welcome back, everyone. And I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Nelva Bryant, in case
Hello,
this is your
everyone.
first time with us. Dr.
Yes.
Bryant, why don't you tell everyone about yourself?
Hi there, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for listening in on us. I know we've been off. We haven't had a show since sometime last month. I can't even remember. But either way, welcome. Thank you for joining. My name is Dr. Nelva Bryant. I'm a veterinarian, and I work within the airline industry to help, in a sense, well, to be exact, where I work, I do work with Delta Airlines. I have been brought on staff to help review and revise policies for animal transportation. Um, and from there, I've just learned that there's a lot of things that pet owners need to do to have their pets better prepared for air travel. And that's how I developed When Pets Fly, and that's how I met Greta. And we have been growing this for the past almost about 2 years now. So that's a little bit about me. Greta, let's not forget, I want you, she's our resident pet owner, but she's an amazing woman and a strong part of what When Pets Fly. So please introduce yourself as well.
Yes, so welcome everyone. My name is Greta Russo, and I do events, marketing, and PR. And I've been on this journey with Dr. Bryant and When Pets Fly for a few years now. We've been growing the brand for a little over 2 years, and it's been very exciting. We get very involved with all of the followers, all of the people that reach out to Dr. Bryant. And we absolutely love that because lots of people go to the website or even to the Facebook page and just reach out to Dr. Bryant asking questions. And even though Dr. Bryant works for Delta Airlines and is actually the only veterinarian that works in the airline industry, she gets to see behind the walls what exactly happens, and she is able to share with us through When Pets Fly lots of tips on what we as pet parents can do better, and so that we can make a safer, healthier trip for our pets. But we try to come on here twice a month. But in January, we were only on here once because I had to go away
She
for a
has
little
stuff to do. Yes.
bit.
Greta,
Yes.
same thing. Greta was you never told me exactly, but Greta does a lot of marketing, and it was related to the Super Bowl. So she was quite busy for a period of time. So took a little hiatus, but if you want to share a little bit about that, I would love it, Greta, just to see all that you do.
Sure. So I have the opportunity to work with the NFL, and we got to. A lot of people don't realize that the NFL alumni is a actual organization connected to the NFL, and they are very strong. And in my personal opinion, they're probably bigger than the amount of people who are current players in the NFL right now. And so they've got 40 chapters across America, and I was brought on a multi-year deal to bring awareness to the alumni chapters, as well as create a week long of events for the alumni that benefit the alumni, just like the Super Bowl has events that benefit the NFL. So I had a very busy past month preparing and dealing with all of that. Lots of marketing and PR was involved. It was very intense and but a whole lot of fun. And but to tie this all into animals, I love being a fly on the wall, and so as you can imagine, lots of security is involved,
Mhm.
and you actually need more than any police force that is in a city. So they typically bring in the National Guard. And in addition to that, like you wouldn't think it, but there were quite a few events where I saw police canine.
Mhm.
And just keeping the peace, and of course, as a pet owner and pet enthusiast, of course I wanted to pet the dog, right?
Mhm.
So, but they had to stand there all, like almost like military, like police. You
They
know
were
how they always
official.
have.
They were on duty there. They were working. They're working
Yep.
dogs. So yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I had to restrain myself from wanting to pet the doggy. So,
Wow. It makes me wonder how did they get them all there, transportation and everything involved with that, because that's another sector that could benefit from well, they're not pets, but say working dog travel education,
well,
because it is,
absolutely.
yeah,
And
another
that's where
sector.
I was leading to, because flying, on the plane that I took out there was a military dog who was sitting with his military person,
Hmm.
and we were both in first class. And of course, I got to pet the doggy there, but
Yeah.
um, but it was a lot of fun just talking to him and
Mhm.
learning about the dog. So the military dog was in first class and was sitting on the floor, and so that's how he traveled. But when I was talking to the police officers, they were like, I guess because they didn't have to come from too far, they drove in with their canine vehicles and stuff like that. But I often wonder when, like, for those dogs, I know they have the dog bulletproof vest, but do the handlers, do they have like a canine pack? When they're working, like, do they have something like Spleash, or do they have, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when they're not working, they got to stop, and the officers stop and get something to eat and drink. What do they do about the dogs? So
Yeah.
I was thinking about that, knowing we had this set up, and I was
Yeah.
like, So
You
it
think
was
about
just,
it too. You look. You made me expand to think about police officers and things that they do sometimes. Just remember during the summer times when people leave their pets in the car in the
yeah,
heat and everything, having a spleesh or something like that available where they can break a window, get quick access to water or something. I don't know. It's just a thought that just potentially a kit that could be utilized by them to assist animals in need, other pets in need, or their own working dogs themselves. So that's interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
do they have their own pet first aid kit in the car? And another thing, like, years back, I remember there was a device either created or just I saw it in marketing, that was like a car thermometer, and it lets you, like, if you were leaving your dog there, it lets you know when the car was too hot.
Mhm.
And so I was like, to your point, I wonder if the police have something like that, because they don't always take the dog out of the car.
Yeah.
So, like, when I saw them, just, it's funny how, like, your mind never stops working when you're
Right.
an entrepreneur. And it was just, I had all these questions, and I knew it wasn't the right place or time to ask, but I just had all these questions.
No, I know they have. Because I can tell you a crazy story, but I know they have the guns. That it looks like a gun, but it's like you push the button and you point it at an object and it will tell you the temperature. I know they
Hmm.
have those. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
Those are very helpful, and I'm sure officers could have something like that, and they could detect the temperature quickly. My funny story behind it is that I was traveling, and I had one in my book bag, and I went through security, and all they saw that it was like the shape and outline of a weapon,
Oh
and
no.
so of course I got pulled to they had to examine my bag and everything, and then they showed it to me, and it said they gave it back to me, but it said just letting me know that this looked like a weapon. I was like, okay. I said, so from then on, I was like, do not travel with that in your backpack but I had it because it was something I needed. I thought I needed to work. If I wanted to scan and see what the temperature was, I had it. So, but
Right.
yeah, no, I'm
Absolutely.
sure. I'm glad we have today Spleash coming on because she's going to share all the multiple uses of it. And the main thing, and we tying in, okay, why does this relate to animal transportation, or can it be related to anything for traveling with a pet? And I do think so. I say, and I met Carrie a while back, who's coming on, but I met Carrie a while back, and I through Clubhouse, and I mentioned to her that I think Spleash is something that's needed for folks that go on hikes with their pets, because a lot of folks don't realize that you shouldn't allow your dog to drink lake water, stream water, or whatever. Don't let them drink standing water out there like that, because there could be multiple pathogens. Could be algae, leptospirosis, which is a bacteria, and other parasites could be in that water, and they can actually quickly get ill. So having your own source of water for your pets in these environments is perfect. So great thing for Spleash. So trust me, she's gonna tell us all the multiple uses. And yeah, and you as an entrepreneur, you're like, hey, ding, 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 ding. Maybe it can be used for other things too. So yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's bring Miss Carrie on. We'll add her in since it's 10 after. And let's see. I'm seeing a black screen. There she is. Hi, Miss Carrie.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi there.
Oh, I'll take my glasses off there. There's too much glare on the screen.
Well, it's finally
welcome to When Pets Fly.
Yes, welcome. It's finally good to see your face, because you, as we said earlier, with Clubhouse, you saw a little picture of someone, a little dot circle. So we never really met face to face to see each other. So I'm glad you joined us, and I'm looking forward to you sharing your information today. So welcome, Carrie.
Thank you, Dr. Bryant and Greta. I really appreciate the opportunity to come on and speak with you about Spleash and about all the other fun topics you raised today. I'm really looking forward to diving in.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, let me read your bio to everyone to introduce you, and then we will get things started. I'd like to introduce you to Carrie Cook, the founder and CEO of Tail Chasers, LLC, the company behind Spleash, the amazing handle that holds 12 ounces of water and attaches to any leash for easy hydration on the go. Carrie has over 20 years of experience with sales and marketing in the biotechnology industry. She also has dreamed of becoming an inventor, and she is proud to be living her dreams with Spleash. Everyone, please help us welcome Carrie Cook.
Awesome.
Yay!
Hey, where's our thingy? Where's our thingy?
I was trying. Here we go. I was trying to click on it without looking.
Oh,
and I clicked the wrong thing. I was like, oh, sorry. Well, welcome.
It's okay.
Harry, you have to excuse us. We're goofballs.
We're goofy. Okay, we're goofy.
I love it. Thank you so much for the warm welcome and the introduction.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Very happy you're here. So please tell us about Spleash and where you came up with the concept. I think it's awesome. And please, like I said, I'm sure it has multiple uses. So enlighten us all, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So I came up with the idea. I normally point over in the room to my dog who helped me inspire this, Lola. Mm-hmm. She's a 95-pound black lab Weimaraner mix. We live in Southern California. It's normally hot outside. She's upstairs in my daughter's room right now, so the barking doesn't get out of control. You know how that goes. Anybody who walks by.
Well, I'm in a room with two dogs here right now. Hopefully they'll stay quiet. One, I keep saying, I told Greta before, my niece's dog Pac is farting. So please, I'm glad you guys can't smell it. But yeah, my two dogs are here. My main dog is 75 pounds. She's a big girl. And I got him. He's about 35 pounds. But yeah. And Greta is our resident cat owner. So she gives us that perspective. Yes.
Yeah. Well, you can use Spleash with those folks who like to walk their cats as well. It's actually helpful to keep any paparazzi away from them getting too close to the kitties. But yeah, I have two more dogs as well. They're little Chihuahua mixes. And, just like every other pet parent out there, we would go to try and expel some of the energy that Lola had. And we would get a couple blocks away, and living in San Diego, it's usually pretty warm here. The sun's out most of the time. So her black coat, she would heat up really quickly, and I kept forgetting the water. It was just as simple as that. I just kept forgetting the water. So one day she's taking a rest in the shade, and I had one of those, I managed to remember it, one of those squeezy bottles that has the bowl at the top. And so I would squeeze the water up into the bowl, and then I started tossing it on her. And I'm like, okay, this would be so much easier if it was like a squirt gun. And I thought, oh, I bet that's something I can buy. So I went to, came back home and went on to Google it and buy it on Amazon, and 20 or 30 pages deep. And well, there isn't anything like it on the market. So I was sort of dumbfounded. My daughter and I were talking about it the whole way back, and we decided, heck, let's do this. You watch enough episodes of Shark Tank, right? I can do this too. So that was the impetus for us to start our journey for Spleash. And so we went to start designing this product, and we wanted to make it something that was incredibly utilitarian. It would serve more than just one purpose for folks. And so that's where the final design landed on this right here. Let's see if I get it in camera enough. So this is the Spleash handle. And what I think is really interesting, a lot of people when they first look at it think it's a retractable leash. It's not a retractable leash. It actually doesn't come standard with a leash. It's a water bottle that attaches to the leash by pushing these two buttons on the side, and you remove this wheel, and then you can lay a flat nylon leash, a leather leash, or a rope leash, and it has a spot for rope leashes that gets smaller as it spins around. So it traps the leash into place, and we pulled a truck with it. So it's incredibly strong. It's on our TikTok. You can see that pinned at the top, where my nephew actually was pulling the truck with Spleash attached to a leash. And then you fill it up here with 12 ounces of water. So this just removes easily, and you can take it out. It has a little leash on it too, so you don't lose it. But you fill it up with 12 ounces of water, and then you go out on your walk. You have this flip open cup. So when the dog needs a quick sip of water, for a quick sip, you just pew, 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 squirt in a couple squirts for a quick sip of water, and then flip open the cup after they're done drinking, and you're back walking again. That piece is incredibly helpful for traveling in the car. When they're a little thirsty, but you also don't want to stop too often to have them go potty, but it's also not going to leave any kind of a mess. You just do a couple squirts, they do a couple licks, and it's empty, and you close it up, and then just stow it next to your seat again. So it fits really nice between the console and the seat. I usually stick it there, and then I just flip it open like that and squirt in and give them a drink. If you have a real thirsty dog, you're out on a hike or a longer walk, and they want a lot of water, then what you do is you pull the plug on the top, and then you open the cup and pull it like this, and it'll fill up, but it won't overflow. So it's like an office water bottle. It's pressurized in here, so it'll reach the top of the cup, and it'll stop filling, and the dog can drink. When they've had enough, you just push the plug back in with your finger and discard the unused water and get back walking again. So that's the main function for the drinking part, unless like our model dog Obi, who is my nephew's golden retriever, is on lots of he's on the back of our box.
Oh, okay.
Obi likes drinking it straight from the spray stream. So you can just start spraying water, and then you get the all the way up to the Spleash, and he starts licking right off of the pump right when you spray it. So it's incredibly useful for just keeping the dog hydrated, which, as you mentioned already, is super important. You don't want to see a dog drinking in the gutter next to the road, the runoff from the pesticides on the people's lawns, and you don't want them in really the communal water bowls for a lot of places, because you don't know how often they've been cleaned. And who else did what before with their mouth and put it in there? So it is better just to, have your own clean source of water with you. But with the spray feature is really nice because you can, oh, and there's still just a little bit of water left in here from a while ago, actually, but you just spray and it reaches at least 14 feet, a nice stream of water. And that can serve a number of different purposes. You can use it to clean off their paws if they step in something. So our little chihuahuas, Coco, our littlest one, she likes to do this little dance after she goes potty. She sort of springs around on 4 feet and then her back two kick out. And if she's just gone, sometimes she likes to go right through where she was. And if you're not fast enough, so you just spray off the paws right on the spot. You have the water, it's on the end of your leash. And nice. With Lola being so dark, with her complexion, she heats up really quickly, and we want to be careful to not let her overheat. So we spray her belly and her paws and, in her mouth, of course, but that will help to bring the temperature down a little bit when you're out walking. If you do see signs of any kind of overheating, you have that quick spray to help them.
That's perfect.
Quick question. Yeah. So, when you're walking with your dog or a cat outside, especially in the summertime, they can get overheated. So when your dog is panting and everything and they're overheated, you brought up something really cool that I never heard before. What can you do to help cool them off? Is there like temperatures that are there spots on the body that you should focus on and I guess spray with the water or put water there to help cool them off?
Yeah, so with Lola,
really good.
Yeah, with Lola in particular, because she has that black coat, if you spray water on the top of her and then she's getting any of the sun heating down, depending on the type of dog, you could get water trapped in there that would make it overheat. It does the opposite, you would think, of cooling them down if you spray them on the top. But if you spray on their belly and their chest and their armpit areas, actually, and their paws, they have... and Dr. Bryant can certainly talk to this. It helps them to cool down more quickly, to have that cooler water and have that water evaporation start to happen through their paws and their belly, and avoid spraying their top of their head and their back when they're still in the sun. If you're in the shade and you're going to stay in the shade for a while, spray away. I think all areas could help cool the dog down quickly. You just rub your hand through the coat, make sure the water is getting dispersed if you're staying in the shade.
Yeah, and definitely as far as just how dogs lose heat, they don't sweat like we do. So armpits, that doesn't work for them. They do dissipate some heat through their pads, but it's less efficient than a lot of times panting. But if you do put water or something, as she's saying, areas where it's less haired might help them better than on their back and everything like that. But they're going to pant and lose it through their pads primarily as far as dissipating that heat.
Yeah, okay. So it's been incredibly useful for us just with Lola and how long walks we go on every day with her.
That's good.
So with going on walks, so with me not having a dog, I'm really curious because number one, I am old, but I remember when I was a little kid, I would be able to play I grew up in the woods, so I would be able to go to the streams and, if I was thirsty, get a mouthful, but we didn't have pollution like we do today. And all the dumpings and all of the pesticides and chemicals, so things are much different. When you're taking your dogs for a hike or a walk around the neighborhood, are there some tips that you can give to other dog parents or even cat parents about safety, health, and maybe even how Spleash can fit in to help with both of those?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really great point, and I think it works with any size dog or cat. If you and we've heard from a few people they like to walk their cats now. They have a nice little harness and go out for a walk too. But because the larger dog, you want to fill a spleash all the way up, so it does hold 12 ounces of water. Trying to get it in the center of the screen, but it does hold 12 ounces of water, so that's a pretty significant amount of water to bring for a dog. They need an ounce of water a day per pound. So if you think about going out on a walk, 12 ounces will be a good amount, and then you want to give them water when you get home as well. With a smaller dog, you don't have to fill it all the way up. So you want to be able to have the spray power. And so the spray actually functions from the bottom of the spleash. It pulls the water in from the bottom. So if you fill it up halfway or even less than that. So when I walk the Chihuahuas, I don't I don't fill it all the way up for them. When I walk Lola, I fill it all the way up. And then what I found, and in particular during the pandemic, because it seemed like every day you go out for a walk, somebody was hanging out in the front yard with their dog. And that's fine. That's really, awesome to have a dog that you can go hang out in your yard with. I would come walking along. Lola, unfortunately, is dog aggressive. And, all the training in the world is not going to fix her. We've discovered she's just that way. And so we would start walking, turn a corner, and then all of a sudden some dog from a couple houses down sees you coming and they come running over, and the owner yells out, "Hey, my dog's friendly, don't worry about it." I'm like, mine's not, like she's gonna hurt your dog. We have to keep them separate. And so that's where that spray power really comes in handy for the safety aspect. Now, I want to be perfectly clear. It is not going to deter Cujo if it's coming after you. It's just not, it's water. But if you aim for their head, one of the first things any animal is going to do if you spray their face is shake their head. They're going to shake real fast. And that 1 or 2 seconds can be enough time for you to pivot, pick up your dog if they're smaller, turn direction. And that spray, when those sort of friendly dogs are coming running up, not reading the signals of Lola, all the hair standing up on her hackles all the way down and rearing up and barking like Cujo, she can be kept away from doing any harm to those dogs. You spray them and they have always just run right back to where they came from. And we did have an incident with a neighbor's dog who got out of their backyard, a bigger, equally aggressive to Lola. And my daughter and I we were walking all of our dogs, plus 2 of our neighbors. So we had a gaggle going down the street. And this dog came out and we both were spraying it. It was so confused. It didn't know which way to look, but it was also getting wet. And I was screaming at the top of my lungs to get them separate. So there was a wet dog that went back to their house and our dogs, but there was no blood. There was no real connection between those 2 because we were able to, it's in your hand when you're walking, it's here, and your finger is kind of always on the trigger. So those surprises when you come around the corner in a neighborhood and there's a dog right there, like I wasn't expecting that. You're ready to deploy that. You don't have to get out. I've heard people bring in pepper spray and other things like that. And it's much easier.
That's a little toxic side. You said before, please share what our good common friend is Nancy Hassel. Please share what she's done with using the Spleash as well.
Oh yeah. So Nancy, she told me a couple of weeks ago she used it. There was an off-leash dog while she was walking her dog Cody, the blue nose, out at a park, and the off-leash dog was one of those more friendly ones again, but needed to keep it away from Cody, and it worked like a charm. But she's also had to deploy it a couple of times for geese in the neighborhood by the lake that they like to walk by. And you think, oh, geese, well, that they like water, they live in it, but they were startled by it, and that's the thing that happens. They don't expect the water to be coming at them at that time, and geese have teeth on their tongues, so they can do some damage if they get too close. So and they get mean sometimes too. So it helped Nancy for sure.
That's good. That's real good. Hey, you never know when you need a good squirt of water. You never know when it come in handy. Question for you though, Carrie. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. You gonna say something? My question for you, Carrie, is: does it come in? Are you eventually going to make a smaller size? Because I could see it being, again, for someone with your smaller Chihuahuas walking, or smaller breeds, or if your cat, that's kind of big. Yeah. So just out of curiosity.
Yeah, it is deceptively heavy looking, but it's incredibly light. So, I mean, it's just like, it's 8 ounces when it's completely empty. So it really doesn't feel like much more than just holding your leash when you're carrying it completely empty. It does hold 12 ounces of water, so that's 20 ounces. When you think about 20 ounces, it's like one of those taller soda bottles, but not the big one, the little bit bigger than the can size. And we do plan on having a smaller pared down version for smaller dogs, but the tooling and everything involved in manufacturing this and getting the world to know about it, everything else was so incredibly expensive. It's on our roadmap for product improvements and different things we'd like to do, but it'll be a while.
That's great.
Yeah.
I have a question from the standpoint of a pet parent being able to bring their dogs in or cats in cabin. And I guess Dr. Bryant, this probably involves you too. Would the airline allow Spleash to be number one, passed through and carried in cabin as a source of giving the pet water?
I would imagine that they have. I haven't flown with it personally. I have a thing with flying right now, but you can empty it on one side of the gate, send it through empty, and then fill it on the other with water once you get the other side.
Right. That was my thought too. As long as you don't come through the TSA check with it filled with water, you're fine. You come through with it filled with water, they're going to confiscate it. Right. So come through empty. Look, it doesn't look like a weapon, so you're perfectly fine. I don't think they'll take it from you. But yeah, I can't imagine a reason why, as far as going in cabin, why they would be against it. It's a way of providing water. From what I look at it, it's leak proof.
Yes.
And so what is the concern? You're just trying to give your pet some water.
Yeah, I will say, when we do store it, we want to put it down with the spray head. And this is the nozzle where the spray, can I get it in the right? There we go. There's a tiny little hole, right? We can't plug that hole. It won't leak or drip usually from that hole once it's full. But if you're just going to leave it somewhere sitting for a long time, it's best to sit it like this, just so that is facing up. And I will say, and I really enjoyed your discussion about the NFL and all of the working dogs and everything. And when we first were launching, I was looking at all of the social media influencers that are out there. And we started following Canine Arlo, which Tyler McCoy was a sheriff deputy up in Washington State, and Canine Arlo is a German Shepherd dog. And I, reached out to them on Instagram and said, hey, would you like to, would love to get your opinion. Would a working dog be able to use this? And so I sent him a Spleash, and gosh, I don't know how long after our initial back and forth and discussions about the product, but he was actually shot, Canine Arlo, and he's since retired. He's medically retired, working dog, but still with Tyler. And I think since that time, Tyler uses Spleash all the time now to travel because it is so convenient. It is incredibly handy to have and be able to just give those quick sips when they need it, wet their whistle a little bit.
Mhm.
And then you do have the 12 ounces. And because it's the handle of your leash, it's really hard to forget this. You can find water sources at various places if you leave and forget to fill it up. But if you don't bring the bowl with you, like that, it becomes a problem. So this all-in-one solution for the end of your leash with the bowl and the water and the spray can be used, for a lot of cleanup too in hotels and on floors and things like that. So I think it's a great all-purpose tool for the traveling pet parent.
With anything with water, I know that you've got to clean something out real good. So what do you clean Spleash out with? And then I want to go into this next question.
Yeah, thanks for asking that. So we've had a lot of comments and questions about, it's black, you can't see if it's dirty inside. And I want to make really clear. So when you are filling it, you just fill it with clean water, tap water, right? And plug it. When you're done, you want to empty it. So we leave it hanging in the we have this little drying rack. Let it dry out, leave the plug open, and let it air out inside. So it shouldn't be growing anything inside. If you're not introducing any of the dog saliva or anything, because this is separate and you can take it off and clean it. The drinking portion, it maintains a pretty safe environment inside. And because it's black, the sun isn't going in to help with assisting the growth of any kind of fungus. So it is relatively good. If you want to clean the inside, you can put soap and water inside, swish it around, empty it out, rinse it a number of times. You could also use a solution of vinegar and water and then really rinse it around after, because dog's sense of smell is extra good. They're going to be a little finicky if you leave too much residue of that in there. But that's the best way to clean inside the leash.
That's perfect.
Okay. So what makes Spleash the ultimate travel companion, and how is it better than the other options that are on the market?
Well, I mean, I'm biased, so I'm going to say I think just sort of what we were just speaking about with the not forgetting it. That's one of the biggest things. It's also really handy because you can fit it over your hand. And I mean, unless you have a really big hand, which I know people do, it allows you to hold it and tie a poop bag, for example, and it's around your wrist. So it's convenient from that standpoint. And if you have access to water, fill it up before you go, then you just are at the ready for all those crazy little things that happen while you're out there. And we've had situations where my daughter might get mad at me for sharing this one, but we were walking as a group, our little pack, and all of a sudden I hear her from behind scream, and I turn, what's wrong? I couldn't initially see what was wrong with her, but a bird had deposited a nice little present on her head, and it went down her forehead, behind her glasses, and into her eye, and then down her face, down her shirt. So yeah, she was grossed out, and that was awful. But thankfully we had Spleash there. So I'm like, okay, close your eye, start squirting, open your eye. I used it to actually squirt out her eye just to get the bird bacteria out. And then I have these handy little, I always have one in my pocket, and it's not a product I sell, but I think with Spleash together, they're such a perfect combination for traveling. It's called Silver Paw, and it's just a teeny tiny little compressed wipe. And when you get it wet, it poofs up and becomes a standard size disinfectant towelette that's hypoallergenic and safe. There's no chemicals in it that are bad for pets. So I had one in my pocket. I squirted water on it from the Spleash, opened it up, swabbed off her face. You know, we were
Perfect.
laughing about it on the way home, but
Perfect.
yeah.
Look, that probably saved an emergency room visit and everything. You know, you attended to that quickly and got her cleaned off. So you never know what could, that's in bird poop. I hate to say it, but you never know. And it's not supposed to be, definitely not supposed to get within our eyes or anything like that. So
yeah,
you could save the visit basically, which is great.
Yeah, it is just, and it's one of those things like each time we encounter a different scenario, oh well, we can use Spleash for that. It really is incredible. And we had this one TikTok. So I know there's a lot of dogs out there that pull really hard, and people will wrap the leash around their hand, and that can be really dangerous for them, crushing their fingers. I know Lola, before we had Spleash, that's what I was doing. Like when she sees another dog, she pulls like a freight train. She's incredibly strong. And this really gives you an incredible grip on the leash. So no matter how hard that dog is pulling, you have something really steady to pull on, hold on to, so that your fingers aren't crushed in the process. And we haven't, I'm knocking on wood, we haven't had any failure of the actual mechanism to keep the leash attached while I've been using it. It's been incredible. And we had an incident just last week where she pulled me all the way across the front lawn and almost over the fence because some dog was walking by right when we opened the door to go for a walk, and I didn't look out the window first. It was totally my fault. And she's just a piece of work. But it's incredible.
She was your inspiration for what you're doing. So
yes, exactly.
Gotta love it.
I love every bit of her. She's such a angel in the house. I can't say enough about what a good dog she is in the house. It's just when she sees other dogs.
Well, I absolutely love Spleash. The fact that it's a sturdy handle. It provides. Hi, John. This is one of my kittens. This is John. So he's named after Jon Snow from Game of Thrones.
Oh, nice.
He always comes to visit me, and they never care if I'm on Zoom or not. But I love Spleash that it's a handle, and you can make yourself, if your hand can fit, you can make yourself hands-free or able to use both hands. One of your hands not going to be tied up. I love that it has a squirt bottle, because I didn't know walking a dog was so dangerous. So you've got your own little weapon against any enemies that might approach, and that it can attach to a leash and have a steady grip. So there's so many valuable things with Spleash. So and the fact that it's 12 ounces is more than enough, even in an emergency situation. That's enough to keep your dog hydrated until you can get somewhere else. And it's in a shape that's not going to alarm the TSA, so you can bring it on the plane in the cabin.
Yeah.
So,
and I bet you there's nothing like that on the commercial market, is there?
No, there isn't really anything like it. When we first launched, we were the only spray leash handle. I think there was another group that launched, let's see, in like mid 2022, and we've been around. Actually, next in just a couple, on March 4th, it'll be our 5th anniversary of being in business. So we're really excited about that. Yeah, thank you. And I can't believe it's been 5 years. I think when I started, my hair was still brown. So, the whole entrepreneurial journey during the pandemic and everything else has been quite the experience. But it's been so much fun. But there's a group that had a spray feature was more of a canteen. It had a collapsible bowl that's separate. So you still have to use 2 hands to do everything. And that's why I really like Spleash, because I've gotten to the point where I just do like that and then squirt, 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 and give them a sip. So you don't have to use 2 hands. You don't have to stop and take something out and then, worry about cleaning the inside of that before you stick it on something and it drips everywhere. So it's been incredibly handy. And I'm just excited to see what we can do and how much more we can help pets and pet parents. And one of the things that my daughter and I decided when we were talking about starting the company was, we didn't want to just, yeah, it's great if we make money, but we wanted to do something that would be giving back, and a cause that is incredibly dear to our hearts, because we actually had to testify in a murder trial, and my daughter had to testify as well. And we took advantage of having a therapy dog sit with her in the hallway in the court. And I just saw how much that took her focus. At the time she was 11 years old, and to take that, all the nervous energy and focus away from what was happening in the courtroom and really focus it on that yellow lab that was sitting with her in the hallway. And we had a yellow lab at the time at home, so it was like her little surrogate Layla that was with her in court. It allowed her, I think, to go in and have the confidence to really speak up and tell the truth during her testimony, and it gave her that extra sort of emotional support while we were going through this very traumatic, horrible ordeal. And so each year we're trying every year to get more dogs certified to be therapy animals with a partnership with petpartners.org. And so I think last year, and we are timing our donations, of course, to get the biggest bang for the buck that we can when they're doing matching. But I think last year we got 8 therapy dogs certified through Pet Partners. So we're going to try and double it every year. We'll see how we do, and get more therapy dogs out there. And we think in particular for working dogs, therapy dogs, and they have a lot of time where they're standing around and waiting for different things to happen. Having that quick, easy, clean access to water is something that, I think it helps them as well. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love it. And also, like I said, you think about it, therapy dogs, people with their service, because you keep saying pets, but therapy dogs, people with their service dogs. This is, even if it's outside of it, emotional support dog, you're traveling with your pet somewhere, you're going to new initiatives now, being a pet friendly environment. You've got your own water source, because again, if it's a pet friendly environment, I'm sure they'll have a water bowl for pets, but I don't think that's good. I don't know if you've noticed, Carrie, with your dogs, if you give them the water bowl, by the next day, there's sludge in there from drinking. You got to clean that out every day. So imagine you're in a community location, there's a water bowl, and there's sludge and saliva from other dogs all mixed together. That's disgusting. They need their own water source, fresh water. And this is the best way to supply that and everything. So many uses. Love it. Yeah. So uses.
Yeah, I think there's one of the hottest water bottles on the market. And I see it all the time, and it's just sort of like, It has it's the little bottle, the teal little drinking scoop, and they push you can fill it up.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
Those are great. They're nice leak-proof water solutions, but it makes it a lot harder to spray clean and cool down your dog. You can't ward off leash interlopers from getting near your dog. There's just so many added benefits to having Spleash on your leash than just carrying a bottle of water. But having it integrated into the leash means you just don't have to carry one more thing. So we already have to go for a walk, and you prepare as soon as I get usually a little lip gloss and some gum, and then I'm ready to go for the walk. And as soon as I hit the gum pack, Lola's like, she's ready to go. Like she's squeaking her toy and running around excited for her walk. Well, then I also have to get some treats, and then I got to get the poop bag thing, and then I got to get the phone and the water bottle. Well, oh, I have it on my leash already. So I just get the leash and the treats, and we're out the door, and we have everything that we need. And it's a little bit easier, just one less thing to hassle with. And with everybody being so busy, that little bit of time savings is I think important, especially if you get out there and you realize you forgot to fill it up. At least you have the bowl, you have the container. You just need to add a little bit of water.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, you got the perfect all-in-one solution. Now it's time to let the world know all about it.
Right, exactly. And we wanted to offer a special discount to the When Pets Fly family. So we're offering 20% coupon. So the code is WPF24 for 20% off. So any of your viewers can get an additional benefit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna have to get that. I'm gonna have to get one for me and for my mom. Oh, dang it! Let me forget my sister too, and everything, because they walk their pets and their dogs, and they definitely. My mom could definitely use. I'm sure if she knew she had something that could squirt off for another dog just to kind of put it off guard, she'd love that. So that's like I said, that's a wonderful benefit. Besides just saying water. You never know when you might need something to startle an animal, and then you can grab him and go the other direction, kind of.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
Yeah, Thank you. We're getting some incredibly brave coyotes out here, and they hate water. So if all else fails and you're making yourself big and you're not, and they're just kind of looking at you. There was one over by our pool, just hanging out in the lawn in the center of. It was the middle of the day, and everybody was around. It was just sitting there. Hopefully, if it starts to approach you, you start spraying, and that may freak them out enough to have them run off.
Awesome.
So everyone can go to your website, spleash.com, pick out as many things that they want to buy, and then use, when they check out, put in the code WPF24, and then they'll have 20% off?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. And what I'll do is, unless you've made a flyer, I can make a flyer and help share that as well.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. I haven't made one yet.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate you being here. Definitely want to have you back in the future to see where you are with the Spleash and how it's developing further. You're my inspiration, because trust me, I have some ideas too for some things in the pet travel industry. So you're my inspiration to keep going. I may reach out to you as far as if I have some need advice or gripe over what I'm dealing with, please, because I have an idea that I'm trying to develop as well.
I'd love to. I love networking, and with Nancy and that group, but also with the founders groups at startups.com and other various networking and inventor help, kind of the National Inventors Club. So we got our utility patent a couple years ago, and we just got notice of allowance for our design patent as well. So it's a long process to bring a product to market. There's so many things I wish I would have known before starting or while planning that I know now, and I'm just more than willing to share and help anybody who has any questions about it, that if I can help save one person from going down the wrong road of misadventure and entrepreneurialism, I will definitely help. But we do have some fun things that are hopefully coming up later this year, so keep an eye out for us. And I believe we're going to be on Tractor Supply Company online coming up, so we're really excited about that.
Ooh, nice.
So keep your eyes peeled for Spleash and spleash your leash, as I like to say.
Fantastic. Glad to hear that you guys have been around for 5 years and you continue to find ways to reinvent yourself. And I believe that once the word gets out about your amazing product, it'll sell off the shelves.
Oh, thank you. From your lips to God's ears. Yes, indeed.
Absolutely. Well, Carrie, thank you so much for joining us today. We definitely enjoyed the conversation, and please feel free to reach out to us again and come back anytime, and so that we can share more information about Spleash.
Oh, thank you so much for the opportunity to share our story and our product with your audience. We really appreciate it. And it was so lovely to talk to you both. I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Excellent.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you, everyone, for watching today. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I push the button.
It
I'm waiting
is
for it to tell me.
still going.
Okay, now.